Hello, everyone, and welcome back to your favorite podcast, Stop the Internet Podcast. I'm Kelee.
And I'm Tricia.
We are so excited for the episode today. We're talking about children. I don't know how old all the kids are in the stories, but all the stories we have today involve children. Or like, you know how we are someone's children?
Yeah.
So I feel like they could be our age, but they're still someone's kid. So that's, even if they're adult children, that's the term.
Yeah.
Do you have any life updates?
No. I really don't. I feel like so Kelee and I spent Easter together. So I feel like it was so recent. Like it was last weekend. So there's nothing really new.
I know, we've already
between
caught up.
The two of us.
Yeah. Actually, one of the stories, I'm glad you brought that up because when I was pulling together the stories today, I was like, ooh, I can use something that we did on Easter as an example in one of these stories. Okay. So I'll bring up Easter later. Okay. I'm glad you said that because I probably would have forgotten already.
We had a great time though.
It was so fun.
And it was a beautiful day.
It was so pretty outside.
Spring has sprung.
Yeah.
I'm wearing spring socks, kind of, that my mom got me for Easter. They're Bombas.
Cute.
Which are like those buy one pair and then they give a pair.
Oh, I've never heard of that.
Yeah, I think they donate a pair. So for all of the non-YouTube watchers and my colorblind friends, they're like pink, yellow, white.
Cute.
Spring color.
Wait, it's so funny that you're wearing interesting socks because on the last episode, Erin was wearing turtle socks or snowman socks.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and she was talking about her turtle socks, and then somebody commented on her YouTube and was like, I love the turtle socks, like wow. Beauty in the little things. And I was like, wait, that's so true.
Aww.
I like that.
Yeah.
I just have black socks, not worth showing.
That's okay.
Yeah. I guess they can be beautiful.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
A beautiful neutral.
True.
Everyone loves a neutral.
Yes, that's so true. Okay, let's jump right in. Should I do the story first that involves Easter?
Sure.
Okay, the story doesn't involve Easter, but I'm going to compare it to something we did on Easter. Mm-hmm. Am I the asshole for not giving a child the puck I caught at the game? Tonight at the Islanders game, I was fortunate enough to... This is just like making me laugh. I'm sorry. Sometimes when it's really sunny outside and I've been like listening to music all day, I'm just in a silly, goofy mood. And then I read the titles and they just make me laugh, even though they're not funny at all. Tonight at the Islanders game, I was fortunate enough to catch my first puck at a game after 25 years of attending games. Even at 34 years old, it was exciting to finally grab a puck after all these years. My first thought after I caught it was I can't wait to give this to my kid. My kid absolutely loves hockey and the Islanders as much as I do. A minute after I sat down, people were in my ear telling me I should give it to a kid that was a few rows up. I kindly explained that I have my own kid and I would really love to give it to him. Instead of just taking what I said and letting it go, they crucified me for the rest of the period, calling me an a-hole and some other choice words. It got so uncomfortable that we left after the second period. My question is, am I the asshole for not giving the puck that I caught to another kid and wanting to save it for my own son? Personally, I don't feel like it's an unreasonable thing. The way they acted, you would have thought I stole the puck right out of the kid's hand. Seriously, need to know because it's been bothering me since I got home.
All right. So I have to say, growing up and going to sporting events, I never remember people catching a ball and immediately finding a kid to give it to.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like, maybe because when I would go to sporting events and if we would catch a ball or... I never went to a hockey game, but if we caught a puck, like, I was a kid, so maybe that's why I never remember it, like, being given away, because either I was, like, with other kids or I was the kid or whatever, like, who got the ball, so I never really had to worry about, like, giving it away. But I feel like it wasn't as common, like, a few years ago, but now, like, there's social media and everyone wants to be, like, the good Samaritan or get on, like, the, like, good news Instagrams and stuff. Like, it's, like, expected, but... I don't know. That's I understand. I get it. I get the sentiment behind it. It's a lovely, like, very nice thing. But also, I don't know. It's exciting to catch a ball. Like, that's so exciting.
I feel the same way. I feel like he's not the asshole at all.
Right.
Because first of all, who even cares? Like, they don't know what his life is. When he told them he's giving it to his own kid, they should have just let it go. But I don't even think, even if he wanted to keep it for himself, I still think that's fine.
Right.
And I feel like adults are allowed to get excited over things too.
Yes,
and
I was gonna say, like, he's also a big fan.
Yeah, and you don't have
kid.
Exactly, like, he grew up going to these games and he never got it when he was a kid, and he finally got it now. Like, what's the difference? He loves them just as much, and it means just as much to him. Yeah, so I just think that you're allowed to have experiences as an adult, and you don't have to give them to kids just because there are kids around you. And what I was comparing it to is on Easter, we did an Easter egg hunt,
right?
Which is typically for kids, but we've never done that, or not that I remember growing up.
Like, did
we? Okay, I didn't think so either.
Well, maybe because we used to go to our grandparents' house like Easter morning.
Yeah.
And they've passed, so we don't really get together Easter morning anymore.
Yeah.
So now we do different things each year, I guess, for Easter. So I feel like we might have done it in the morning when we were like little kids.
If we did, I don't remember it. So I was like, oh my God, it would be so fun if we did an Easter egg hunt. We're all adults. So Tricia and I are cousins, in case you didn't know. So our sisters were there, our parents, Tricia's boyfriend was there, Tricia's brother-in-law, and actually a few friends were there as well. And we had an Easter egg hunt. And it was so much fun. It was so funny. We were laughing the entire time, running around, just getting into it so much. Our parents are laughing at us. Like, it was so much fun.
Yeah.
And I was thinking that is something that's typically for kids. So if there was a situation where an adult was like, oh, instead of you guys doing that, you should let the neighbor's kids do that. Or like, let those kids over there participate instead of you. I would be like, no, this is something that I've always wanted to do.
Yeah.
And I've never gotten to do it that I remember. And I'm like, I'm going to do this for myself.
Right.
So I was thinking about that comparison when I read this story. And I'm like, no, not the asshole. Like, you're allowed to have experiences as an adult, and you're not obligated to give them to children just because there are children near you.
Yeah. And I have to say that Easter egg hunt, arguably more fun as an adult because you can be so aggressive and you don't have to worry about making someone cry.
Yes.
And like so competitive, and like you don't have to worry about like some little kid getting upset that you stole their egg.
Yes. So true. We were like cut through.
Yeah.
But then we all ended on the same team.
Yeah.
So I don't know how that happened, but we came together at the end.
My boyfriend and my brother-in-law hid the eggs, and we were trying to all collectively, they hid them pretty well.
They did well, yeah.
Trying to like team up and find them all. And we had to do 2 rounds because we all gathered together after we thought we found them all, and we counted them up and we did not find them all.
Yeah.
So we had to go again.
It was so fun.
It was fun.
I made a video during it, and then I put all the clips together.
Yeah, it was so
I
funny.
actually put it on my Instagram story, and I was like, is this really annoying? Because the whole time in the video, we're just like screaming and running and laughing and like breathing heavy in the video. But anyway, I thought it was so funny. So highly suggest doing an Easter egg hunt as an adult, but yeah, I think the guy's not the asshole.
Yeah, I don't think so either. And for the most part, I mean, I don't know, like, kids have different temperaments, but, like, unless you tell the kid you should have that puck, he should give it to you, the kid won't think that.
That's such a good point.
And they won't get upset.
Yeah.
But unless you put that thought into their head, they think, okay, that guy owes me that puck. That is my puck by my right as a child. Like,
yeah.
So just, like, don't say it.
That is such a good point. Yeah, the kid's not expecting the adult to hand it to him. Or he shouldn't be. Or they shouldn't be.
Right. You never know. But
the top comment is not the asshole. I don't give a puck what those other people said.
Good one.
Good one. Someone said, a bunch of rude mother puckers, if you ask me. I just can't believe the guy turned around. Like, I would get it if somebody, I mean, I still think it would be out of line, but if someone was like, hey, like that kid right there, he's been trying to catch the puck the whole game. Like, if you want to give it to him, I'm sure he'd really like it. But as soon as the guy said, oh, you know what, I'm taking it home to my kid, and they're really going to love it, the person should be like, oh, that's just as good. Or whatever. Yeah. Or if the adult was like, I've always wanted to catch a puck. This is my first time in 36 years and I'm so excited. Like, I need to keep this for my memory box or like whatever. As soon as they say they don't want to, like, they're not obligated to do anything. They should have just let it go.
Yeah, you just gotta respect each other.
Agreed.
Yeah. You don't know the full extent of any situation for the most part.
Agreed. Am I the asshole for asking my brother to pay $30,000 for my engagement ring? I hosted a family dinner over the weekend. My brother brought my nephews, 4 and 8, over as well. I used to wear my engagement ring all the time, but lately I keep it in my walk-in closet and mainly wear it for special occasions. While I was cleaning up the dinner table, my nephews went to play while the adults were still in the outdoor patio, outdoor kitchen area. My brother was not supervising his kids. During this time, my nephews went into the master bedroom without without anyone knowing and started playing with everything, including my engagement ring. When we came to look for them, they panicked because they know they aren't supposed to be upstairs, ran into the master bathroom, and flushed my ring. I would be livid.
Oh my God.
We called a plumber in case it was somehow in the trap of the toilet and not actually gone. But nope, unfortunately, it was gone for good. We still had the original receipt, so I called my brother. I emailed him a scanned copy as proof of the cost and asked him to reimburse me for the ring my nephew flushed. Immediately, he started calling me an asshole because we were family and he was just a child. He has refused to repay the cost of my ring. I told him I will be taking him to court for this, and now my entire family is blowing up my phone, saying families shouldn't sue each other and just let it go. There are a few edits, but that was the original post. Do we want to give our first thoughts?
Wow. Okay, I don't know. I think that they're both kind of in the wrong here. I don't know.
Okay. Why do you think the OP is in the wrong?
It just $30,000. That's a lot of money. And I don't really know like ballparks for engagement ring prices, but
I think that's well beyond the average.
I was going to say, I think that that is like extremely higher range than most people's engagement rings.
Yeah.
So like the fact that like it's just a, it's like a not average ring. So then it's like not an average situation. I don't know.
Okay.
You know what I mean? If it was like a $5,000 ring, then I think that's a lot more reasonable to ask for reimbursement. But $30,000, like that's like college tuition, like a new car. I don't know.
I feel though like you could make the opposite argument and be like, if it was only $5,000, sure, don't sue your family over a smaller amount of money. $5,000 is still a lot, but obviously compared to $30,000, it's not. But I could almost see the opposite argument of like, don't make a big fuss over this relatively small amount of money, but because it's worth so much, who knows how long her husband saved up for it? Like maybe, I don't know, maybe she really, really values engagement rings and that was the one thing they like spent all this money on and everything else is kind of like not as important to them. I mean, this is, I guess, irrelevant at this point, but I think it's stupid to have an item that's worth that much and not have insurance on it.
I was just gonna say like, do they not have insurance on it?
I feel like they should, before she is telling her brother just repay me out of your own pocket and before she takes him to court, I feel like they should all look into their insurance policies, their homeowners insurance, and then see if they could potentially get any of it covered, and maybe then the brother pays the premium or the deductible or whatever. I feel like maybe that's step one. But at the same time, I'm really trying to put myself in these shoes. I guess it also depends on your financial situation, because if I just had like millions of dollars and this was just one little thing, I'd be pissed off for sure. But would I sever a relationship with my brother over it? Hopefully not. But $30,000 is so much money. And an engagement ring is sentimental on top of just the monetary value of the ring. I think the brother should pay it. I think, or at least he should try to use his insurance or something. I don't know.
I know. That's hard.
Like, you take responsibility for your kids and shit happens and you need to, like, if the kids went into a store and stole a ring and then, I don't know, lost it and they could never return it, they would face consequences.
Yeah.
He would either have to pay fines or someone would like go to jail or something, depending on how old the kids were. So just because they were in a home and it was his sister, they should just face no consequences and the OP should just be out $30,000. Like, there should be consequences. This is so hard.
Yeah, because I'm not trying to like form judgments, but if you can spend $30,000 on a ring, like you have to be well off.
Right.
Unless you just like really, really value an engagement ring over like any other cost of life. I don't know. I would assume that they have to be well off. Maybe they were at one point. They might not be still. I don't know. But like, that's a lot of money for a ring. So, but yeah, I would be very upset about it, knowing the value of it. But also for my brother to pay that back, I don't know. I'm talking in circles.
I know. Just like, it's so hard.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess like the easy answer is, it was his kids, his responsibility. He needs to pay for it.
Right.
But family relationships are so complicated. Like, is the value of a ring, a piece of jewelry that you barely wear, is that worth severing a relationship with your brother and his kids? Like, I don't know. I guess to some people it is.
Right.
But maybe that's a privileged way of thinking. Like, if you had enough money to just replace the ring, it wouldn't be worth it.
And also maybe she doesn't feel guilty asking for someone else to replace it, because in her her eyes, it's easy to replace it.
And also, I feel like if I was in the really privileged financial situation and my brother wasn't, I would take that into account when, like, if you look at it in black and white, you shouldn't. Like, in black and white, the brother should pay back what the kid lost. But then if the brother is already struggling, is the sister really going to be like, I need compensation for my engagement ring that I never wear when you're struggling to, like, live a normal life? But if the brother is over here balling and he can afford it, then I feel like that's an easier situation. Yeah. And he should give it. I feel like there's so many factors that in black and white wouldn't matter, but in this situation, they kind of do matter. Or I would take them into consideration if it was me.
I would, if there was no insurance on it, I would maybe, like, try and split the costs just to come to, like, a compromise.
Would you split the cost, though, if your brother was, like, a millionaire? Like, if it would be an easy sum for him to just cut you a check and pay you and he wouldn't even notice it was gone. Yeah, so I feel like this is so hard.
I don't know. My other thing I was going to say is if like, the brother is struggling financially, or even like you are, you know, like, or it's hard for either of you to pay the $30,000 and get the ring back, I would still want a replacement ring, but I might settle for a different ring, maybe not of the same value, because then I would still have an engagement ring that is still, like, that special item to me, but maybe it didn't cost as much as the original, but then I would still have my, like, a ring.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
I feel like it's also hard because you could be like, well, it's the brother's fault because he wasn't supervising his kids. Yeah. But it's not like they're 1 and 2. They're 4 years old and 8 years old.
I was going to say that too.
Yeah, like, you're not expecting, maybe a 4-year-old because they don't really understand the concept of something that's really valuable. But an 8-year-old, like, kids are very smart. So you're not just expecting your 8-year-old to go into your sister's closet, go into a jewelry box, take out an engagement ring, get scared when they hear you coming, run into the bathroom and flush it down the toilet. Like, you're just not expecting that. So I do cut the dad some slack there, but it's still his fault.
I am so curious about why they thought to flush it and not just like drop it on the floor or like put it back.
They just probably were like, oh, they should never know that we took it. Like, they won't even realize it's gone because they don't know that this ring costs $30,000 and it's an engagement ring.
What a weird instinct.
True. There's a few edits.
Okay.
No, the ring was not insured. I found out the day after my nephew flushed it. Awesome. That's a great time to figure out that you don't have insurance. My husband says he forgot and in the end never actually insured it. Well, this is a lesson to everyone. Yeah. If you have a very expensive item, get an insurance
something
policy.
So small.
Yes.
That you use daily, or typically you wear it daily, you use your hands daily. Yeah. And it's so small.
Totally. That's mind-blowing that someone that spent that much money on an engagement ring just forgot to get insurance. I mean, obviously it happens in life, but if I was given that ring, I'd be like, let me see the policy. Yes. Like right now. My brother says he does not have the money to repay even $100 a month and has refused any kind of repayment plan. That's kind of I feel like, I don't know, maybe I'm being too judgmental, but $100 a month, I feel like unless he's really struggling. Yeah. But if he's like middle class or upper middle class, anywhere in there, I feel like you got to take responsibility for your kids' actions. He said, I live in a nice enough house, and if I want a replacement, I should just sell my car.
See, that's what I said. It's literally the cost of a car.
Yeah, literally. The brother is telling his sister, if you want a new ring, it sucks that my kid flushed your ring down the toilet, and you should just sell your car.
So now you'll be out your engagement ring and your car.
Yeah.
Because of his stupid kid.
Yeah, not the brother like victim blaming and being like, well, if you want a replacement, you should just sell your car. What? What kind of... Okay, now I'm team OP. The brother's an idiot. My brother to this day has not truly apologized. It was a Canadian... Oh, I thought it said it was a Canadian story. It was a Canadian sorry. Sorry, not sorry? A Canadian sorry?
I don't know.
I've never heard that term. Okay. No offense to anyone in Canada. I feel like that's like an offensive term. Like Canadian sorry. Does that mean when people apologize but they don't mean it?
Or like they just avoid it?
Are we just like making Canadians seem like they're not genuine? Weird. Okay. Anyway, he said kids will do what is normal for kids and they shouldn't be held responsible for a ring. Well, the kids aren't. The dad is.
Yeah.
They were supposed to supervise their kids outdoors with the rest of the family while I was busy cleaning up. Oh, this is getting worse and worse for the dad. I don't believe for a second that my brother and his wife cannot pay for the cost of my engagement ring. They don't make anything near my husband, but they have a combined income of around $250,000. Come on. You can pay $100 a month if you're making $250K. They don't pay rent or anything because my parents gifted them their old house valued at $3.5 million in Toronto, Canada.
Stop.
Back when I bought my parents a new house years ago. Oh, the brother is so wrong.
Yeah.
So wrong. There is no mortgage on the home my brother lives in. The only things my brother and his wife would have to pay for is the cost of raising their children, normal bills, and food. I feel so distraught because my ring holds great sentimental value. I've already been speaking with my husband's family lawyer, but at this point, I'm ready to hire a PI to find out if they really don't have the money. Oh, court. I think court is the answer.
Yeah. So not to just like totally like make these assumptions, but it sounds like this guy, this brother, has not really had to deal with that many issues in life. If he was like given his house, like doesn't have
$3.5 million house for free.
Yeah. So now that he stumbles upon this like true issue, he's like running away from it, and he's like, no, it's not real, it's not legitimate, it's not my fault. Like, come on, buddy, take some responsibility.
After the evidence that is presented, I would take him to court too. That's crazy. Wow. Top comment, not the asshole, his circus, his monkeys. He wasn't watching them. That's on him. The majority vote was not the asshole. I say not the asshole, the brother's the asshole. Wow, that one settled. Was very interesting.
Yeah.
And obviously it's easy for me to say the brother should just pay it, because if it was my kids, I wouldn't want to pay it either.
Oh, right.
But you have to take responsibility for your children.
Yeah.
Okay, speaking of money, here's another one. Would I be the asshole if I made my 10-year-old sister use her birthday money to pay me back? I, 24 female, recently moved back in with my parents so I could finish trade school. My little sister, 10, and I share a Jack and Jill bathroom. I had been noticing slime and spilled wax all over the countertops and the light switch in my side of the bathroom, and I had talked to my parents about keeping my little sister out of my side of the bathroom. Well, 2 weeks ago, I was supposed to go on a date but couldn't find any of my makeup. I asked my little sister if she had taken it out of my bathroom, and her response was, I didn't even know you wore makeup. She's a good kid, so I believed her and figured I must have lost my makeup in the move, which pissed me off because I buy expensive stuff since I don't use it too often. I ended up going to the store that day and just replacing the concealer and foundation, worth $100, since I couldn't afford to replace my whole set. Well, this morning, I wake up to find my old concealer and foundation sitting right on top of the new ones I just bought. I asked my mom if she had found it somewhere, and she said she never touched it. It was pretty obvious that it had leaked or something because there was makeup all on the outside of the bottle, and it was way more empty than when I last had it. My mom immediately thinks that my little sister took it and goes into her room to snoop around. The next thing I know, my mom starts tossing the room, and I'm trying to get her to stop when she finally dumps out a drawer with not only my makeup, but a bunch of makeup of my mom's that had gone missing. My sister had taken 2 makeup palettes of mine. One I hadn't even opened yet. Brushes, lipstick, eyeliner, basically everything. On top of that, my mom found open containers of slime and paint that had seeped into the carpet and other shit she had stolen from around the house. All of the makeup she took from my mom and I were destroyed. The palettes were mixed together and cracked, brushes had paint in them, lipstick smashed, and everything was covered in slime. The slime is like sending me. It's just like the icing on the cake of a 10-year-old.
Yeah.
When me and my parents confronted her, she denied everything, even said that she didn't use any of the makeup when it was an obvious lie. My parents have grounded her for a month, no phone, no electronics, and have offered to pay me back, but I don't want them to pay me back. I want her to pay me back. She stole and destroyed nearly $200 in makeup and lied to my face about it. The worst part is I've only been living here for 3 weeks. Her 11th birthday is coming up in 2 months, and I'm wondering if I would be an asshole if I made her use her birthday money to pay me back. I feel like taking her birthday money is cruel, especially because it's the only kind of spending money she gets all year, and my parents have suggested chores, but what chores is she gonna do for me to pay me back? I do more chores than her, and I pay rent. First thoughts?
She's a little kleptomaniac.
Yeah. It's crazy that the little girl is still lying when her mom found it all in her room. She's like, I didn't take it. And it's like, okay.
Right. And she's going to be 11. It's not like she's 5 and she's like stealing stuff, smashing it, lying about it.
Yeah.
You're gonna be 11 and you're like getting slime all over your makeup palettes that you stole. And
yeah. So using the birthday money, it's hard though because the parents are doing, I think, the right thing. They're taking responsibility for their child that, similar to the last story, they were not supervising their child when she was stealing these things, or that wouldn't have happened. So the parents are, I think, doing the right thing. They gave the girl a punishment and they're doing what's right for their other daughter, repaying her back for the monetary value. So I feel like the parents are doing everything right. I feel like OP is almost just like, she has good intentions, but she also has bad intentions in this solution that she thought of. Because the good intentions is, she's like, my parents shouldn't have to pay for this. They didn't do anything wrong. My sister did, so she's the one that should have to pay. But at the same time, it's a child. The girl's 10 years old. And at 10 years old, you don't understand the monetary value of makeup. And the parents gave the child a punishment that they felt was fit for that crime or that action. And I think if the sister learned her lesson with the punishment that her parents gave to her, why would it be on OP, aka this little girl's older sister, to give her even more of a punishment than her parents already gave her? Like, isn't it the parents' job to parent the kid, not the older sister? Especially when the parents have already done what they can to make the situation right.
Yeah. I feel like she might not understand quite how expensive all the makeup and everything was that she took, but she knew what she was doing. If she knew it was wrong, she wouldn't have lied about it and continued to lie even after like the proof was right in front of her.
That's a good point.
So she knew what she was doing and she still went ahead and did it and then lied about it. And I think that there is some harm in the parents paying the older sister back, because the younger sister got grounded and then like that was the end of it. But like, what if she does something even worse in the future? She might just think, oh, my parents will cover for me again.
That's a good point too. Okay.
But it's like, it's not the older sister's job to make that decision and say that like,
yeah,
the punishment wasn't enough. But I am just saying, like,
yeah,
I understand why she wants the younger sister to pay her back to like really understand what she did.
Yeah. I wonder if there's a way that they could teach the little sister the value of money without actually taking her money. I don't know. Like, I wonder if they could use the birthday money as a teaching moment.
Yeah.
And somehow be like, I don't know, imagine you have to give all this money back. Or actually, yeah, make her give the money back. Like, I don't know. I don't know what kind of life they live.
Right.
And like how it's going to affect this little girl if she doesn't have this birthday money. But maybe that's what needs to happen to teach her a lesson. I don't know.
I'm sure there's people out there with kids that know exactly what to do.
Yes, yes. If there's any parents, what would you do in this situation?
Yeah.
If you weren't like struggling, and I feel like birthday money a lot of the time is like, it's just used for like extra toys, right? Or like extra experiences.
Like ice cream. Yeah.
Yeah. Like on top of all the things that your parents just give you in life, I feel like parents, at least I know parents that I know, would be like, well, if you want that extra scoop or like the extra toy or the extra Barbie accessory, you can pay for that with your own money. So if it's a situation like that and the parents aren't struggling financially or like whatever, how would a parent handle this? I don't know. Good thing we're not parents.
Yep.
We will do extensive research before becoming parents.
Yes.
To figure out how to handle these situations. There was a slight update. Edit, my parents are not against her paying me back with her birthday money. They actually suggested it first. They're leaving it up to me to decide how I want to be paid back. My grandparents gave her a $200 check every birthday on top of all the toys and art for extra spending money during the year. That's so hard. The parents are leaving it on OP.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Part of me is like, yeah, teach the little girl a lesson and make her give you the $200. But part of me is like, she is a child.
Yeah.
Like, this is, I don't know. But then it's like, I could say she doesn't understand. But like, how do you teach someone how to understand? You teach them a lesson.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, it doesn't sound like she apologized. So I don't think she truly sees what she did wrong. Yeah. Even though she knows it was wrong, I don't think she understands like the extent of what she did.
So maybe that's how you get her to learn that.
Yeah.
Wow, guys, being a parent is hard.
Yeah.
We're struggling. At least I am.
Same. I don't know what I would do.
I'm really struggling to parent these children on Reddit right now.
I know. This is hard work.
Yeah. There was no overall vote on if this person would be an asshole. I think most of the comments were like, your parents should make that decision. And Oh, one of the top comments was, what's going on with your little sister that she's stealing and lying? Like, that's the root of the problem.
Yeah.
Some people are saying, yes, you would be the asshole. Parents are responsible for their underage children's actions, and they offered to make you whole by paying for the makeup. So, yes, you'd be the asshole. Yeah, I do kind of see that. I don't know. I think that the parents should decide. So OP deciding to take her sister's money, is she an asshole for that? I don't know, but I just think it's like the family should come to the agreement that the parents should be parenting the kid, not the older sister.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's tough, though. I'm not going to bang the gavel because I'm still kind of up in the air.
Same. Good luck.
Good luck. Let's do a wedding one.
Love it.
Everyone's favorite. Am I the asshole for telling my sister her 4 kids are her plus one? I'm 30 male in the midst of planning a wedding and deciding everything regarding the guest list. We have a hard cap of people allowed given the venue's small size. We can only have 105 people. Anything after that would not be allowed due to fire codes and venue policy. I have an older sister, Mia, whose life is a bit of a mess right now. She and her latest ex-partner and dad of one of her kids broke up in the last 6 months. She has 4 kids and they are all living at my parents' house for the time being. We opted not to have a child-free wedding after there has been so much drama about it, so Mia's 4 kids, between 4 and 11, will be at our wedding. She recently got her invite and stated her name and her 4 kids' names. She then called me and said, I assume as an adult I also get a plus one? We told her no, she's not in a serious relationship and she and her kids are already about 5% of our total guest list. Our caterer also doesn't charge less for kids, so we're paying about $400 for those 4 kids to be there. We don't want to pay another $100 for some random that she'd bring. She's not dating anyone, but said she could easily find a date or bring a friend to have someone to dance with. We told her she has 4 kids there, and that should be more than enough instead of having a plus one. My dad is on my side and is tired of her taking up the house. My mom is a little more sympathetic, saying I should allow her to have a plus one because that's what you do for adults. Spending $600 on just my sister, her kids, and a date when she's not seeing anyone seriously just seems ridiculous to me, though. She is pretty ticked off, though. Am I the asshole here?
That's a lot of money.
I might have an unpopular opinion. You go first. That is a lot of money.
Yeah, that's my first reaction. That's like a ton of money to be putting out for your sister, which, like, I don't know their financial situation, so
yeah,
I don't know. Like, I like to think I would spend whatever I need to on my siblings because they're my family and I love them, but I don't know. That's a lot of money. And it's like, it's tough that it sounds like they wanted a child-free wedding to start, and then there was like drama with it because she has 4 kids, and so now they're accommodating her in that way, like letting her kids come. So to now also be making this like next request again that isn't necessarily just like a cheap thing for them to do, that's a tough situation.
I think that OP is looking at this wrong because if it's not a child-free wedding, your sister isn't really receiving any sort of privilege or extra care to make her more comfortable or whatever. Because it's not a child-free wedding, there's no expectation that children that you're close with wouldn't be invited. So OP and his spouse made that decision. So then you shouldn't be like putting that sort of monetary value on it and being like, well, I'm already spending $600 for you. And it's like, if you're going to have a wedding and spend that much money, you just need to accept that it's going to cost $100 for everyone that's going to attend. That's just how weddings work. I would get it if they decided to have a child-free wedding and then the sister was like, can I please just bring my kids? If OP said to his sister, look, we can't afford to have a ton of people there, so I'm going to offer you either your kids go or a plus one goes, but we really can't afford to have all of them go. That would be one thing. But they're not having a child-free wedding. So OP's kids are their nieces and nephews. So I don't think that there's anything weird about the kids being invited and them needing to pay for the kids to be there. Like, that just seems pretty standard to me. I feel like I might not be explaining this in the best way, but I feel like the OP almost has like this tinge of resentment towards the sister.
Yeah.
And is like, oh, you have so many freaking kids, like, and now I have to pay for all of them. And it's like, yeah, that's how it works when you invite a family to your wedding. And if you didn't want to pay for the kids, you shouldn't have invited them. And I kind of feel like as an adult, this is where the plus one thing comes in. question, because on one hand, you can be like, it's your wedding. You can offer or not offer plus ones to whoever you want, and that's your right. But on the other hand, it's like when you're inviting adults to your wedding and it's people you really care about, if them having a plus one would make them the most comfortable and allow them to have the best time, is that something you should do? I feel like you could argue yes.
Yeah.
And then OP's dad being on his side, I feel like is just because he's just a little bit annoyed at his daughter. And he's like, all right, we're giving you so much. We're giving you the free house. Like, we're giving you all of this. You can have one night without a plus one. That's a good point too. Like, I don't know.
Well, do you think because didn't it sound like they want a child-free wedding, but
yeah, I guess
they couldn't do it because there was drama, whatever that means?
I feel like they should have stated that beforehand, though, and been like, we're accommodating you on the kids.
Yeah.
But we can't handle accommodating you on the kids and the plus one.
Right.
If you want a plus one, bring a plus one, but then the kids can't come.
Yeah.
And they can use the reasoning of the venue being small and maybe the couple not having an unlimited budget. They could give the sister the choice.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because even like if money isn't an issue, there's still a guest limit.
Right.
And like my sister just got married a few years ago. We were still in the COVID era. They had their full guest list and they had to cut it down so much. And they actually had to cut it down pre-COVID because they couldn't fit everyone in the venue. And then they had to cut it down even more because of new like COVID rules. So it's also kind of tough because it's like, if you're excluding like your own friends, it's hard to give people a plus one. And if they're not seeing, they don't know the person that well, if they're not seeing anyone seriously, like you don't know them that well, and like you're like cutting like your, I don't know, like maybe like your college friends or something to like your B list, but then you're giving like someone else like a plus one you don't even know. Like that's tough too.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's hard. That they would be opening like 5 spots for the sister. I get it, like the kids and her should be a package deal though, because they're family. Like I understand that. And since it's not a child-free wedding, like that should just be a given that they're all going. But yeah, just like they said, it's a small venue. So it's kind of tough because like they said that's 5% of their guest list right there. Right.
That is a good point of if they have to cut other people. But I feel like just have a conversation then.
Yeah.
And tell them that.
Yeah.
And be like, we obviously have a small venue and we want friends to be there, so I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess he's not an asshole, but I could see where the sister was coming from.
Yeah.
And I almost feel like the reasoning shouldn't be like, oh, we have to pay $400 for the 4 kids and then $100 for her and then $100 for the extra person. Like the only argument should be, I don't feel like paying $100 for someone I don't know. I feel like the cost of the kids becomes irrelevant once you decide to have a wedding that's not child free.
Yeah, that's true.
So I feel like his reasoning was just what was making me question it.
Yeah.
But I get that when you don't have a big venue, not everyone can have a plus one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, I don't think he's an asshole.
Yeah.
After examining all the evidence. But I do think the $400 with the kids and then another $100 for the sister, it's like, that's standard. Don't use that as evidence. Mm-hmm. Just use the extra $100 and the extra seat at the venue as your evidence or your reasoning.
Yeah.
The main vote was not the asshole. So we agree with them.
Not the asshole.
Let's do another wedding one on the same vein. Am I the asshole for refusing to go to a child-free wedding if my son can't go? My younger brother and sister-in-law are getting married next year, 2024, and sent out the RSVP earlier this February, which is when the whole fight started. The invitation include tickets to the wedding, along with the dress code and a semi-letter letting the attendees know this is a child-free wedding, along with a few other formalities or rules, whatever they want to call them. Not my wedding, not my rules to make. Plus, I don't have children. My only kid is 16 years old, and I am a single mom, so the whole idea of going to the wedding to enjoy a fun night to myself without the kids is not something new, nor is it something I've had to worry about for a while. The issue isn't with the rule. The issue is that the invitation originally came with 2 tickets, and we didn't think much of it because he's not a child, so why wouldn't he be invited? Turns out the no child rule involves anyone under the age of 18, and we found out when my son brought up the wedding during a family dinner, and both my sister-in-law and brother seemed taken aback, which led to questions, and them finding out they had accidentally sent out 2 tickets, which then led to an awkward conversation and my son getting uninvited in front of the people present. Damn. I'm genuinely trying really hard to understand their side and the fact that it's their wedding, not mine, but I cannot get past the idea of the way they did so and how they made my son feel. Also, the fact that I had my son at a really young age and his dad was never present, so my brother was like a big brother to my son, so I think my son and me are quite hurt at the idea of my son not attending. I would say me choosing not to attend is nothing personal, but I'd be lying if I did so. I've been getting called immature, petty, and a bitch, but I think the situation would have been different had it been made more clear that my son wasn't going to be invited from the start and not getting his invitation revoked randomly.
Yikes.
Wow. Okay. Deeper than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
I feel like if you were that close with someone growing up, like if your sister had a kid at a young age and you were kind of raised as brothers and they're 16, maybe that's a place where you can be like, yeah, I'm having a child-free wedding, but this is my one exception. Mm-hmm. This person I'm extremely close with. You don't have to do that, but I feel like that would be a really good example of a time where you can break your own rules.
Yes. I agree.
So that's just what I would do if I was in the situation and I was the couple getting married. But that decision has already been made, and that's not the decision that they went with. So what's happening now is that the mom is refusing to go if the son doesn't go. I also think that the couple, they made a mistake and sent an invite to the kid. So they should just accept that, even if they're like, shit, we shouldn't have done that. They should just accept that they did that.
Yeah.
And let the kid come. Like, that's ridiculous for them to be like, oh, you're uninvited after you've been but I also wonder, does the couple understand how hurt the kid is?
Right.
Because,
how can you not, though?
Yeah. I mean, I just think people make mistakes, though. And, like, maybe the brother who's the groom isn't sitting there being like, how is my nephew, who was raised as my brother, going to feel when I uninvite him from my wedding? Like, what is he really going to think deep down? Is he going to be hurt? Like, that's what the groom should do. Mm-hmm. But maybe that didn't cross his mind with all the hustle and bustle. Like, in his mind, he's like, it's a kid, child-free wedding, not coming.
Yeah.
And also, I think that people, when it comes to weddings, sometimes don't even know that they're allowed to break their own rules. I feel like people have these traditional ideas of what a wedding is. And it's like, it's a girl and a boy. And the girl has bridesmaids that wear dresses. And the boy has groomsmen that wear suits. Mm-hmm. And you get married in a church and a priest does the thing, like, blah, blah, blah. But, like, you don't have to do that, like, right. Just because that's what tradition is. And then another example is like having a child-free wedding. Just because typically child-free means 18 and under, like that's what a legal child is. Like that doesn't mean that you have to follow that rule to a T. Mm-hmm. These are rules that we're making for ourselves. Like you're allowed to break them, but I feel like sometimes
aren't gonna
come
get you.
I think sometimes people forget that because they're like, well, this is what a wedding is and I have to do it like this. And it's like, you can do whatever you want. So if they realize that they can break their own rules, then they are actively making this decision to keep out this 16-year-old kid, which I feel like is an asshole move. I don't know. I kind of am with the mom. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I am too. I would be really hurt. I feel like me personally, I can get like kind of like easily hurt like by association. Like I get mad for people a lot, and that would like really hurt me, especially like with their specific situation where the son and the brother were like raised together or like very close. Like I don't know, that's just like I would be shocked if they couldn't make the exception, especially because he's 16. It's not like he's a child that's gonna be like running around and needing like crayons to draw with at dinner. Like he's gonna be acting like an adult there, I'm sure.
And it's, I feel like just even worse that the mom is a single mom.
Yeah.
So now is she gonna go to the wedding alone?
Right.
And sit there all night alone while everyone else has a plus one, everyone else is with their partner, their spouse, and she just gets to be alone.
Yeah.
Like after you uninvited her son, that's kind of fricked.
Yeah. And it does make it even worse that like she originally had the 2 tickets and now they're taking one back. That's horrible.
And you know what is also funny? That this kid brought it up at dinner when I'm guessing these tickets or whatever would be used to enter the event in some way. So what if he just never brought it up?
And showed up.
Yeah, and the 2 of them showed up with their 2 tickets. Would the couple be like, you gotta go. You gotta go home. Child-free wedding.
I don't know if they're bold enough to uninvite him in front of like their entire family. Like maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think the couple's just like making a mistake here. I don't know.
I feel like I heard about stuff kind of similar to this, like during COVID again. Like people had to like uninvite.
Yeah.
Like because they would send out save the dates. So you didn't really get an actual invitation. But like some people, like I heard, would get a save the date and then like no invitation.
Ugh.
So awkward. I mean, I get it in certain situations it has to be done, but like.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like COVID, it's more understandable.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's like, be for real, like we have to cut people down and like, I don't know. I feel like COVID is just more understandable when people are having these micro weddings.
Right.
But
that's just the only thing I can relate it to.
Yeah.
Like uninviting someone, like, ugh.
Especially someone that you're that close with.
Yeah.
Like it's not someone that you invited as a friend and then you guys got in a fight or they did something terrible and you're like, well, now you're not getting an invite. But your nephew that I think the couple made the wrong decision on that.
It sounds like he was like excited and now you're just like,
I know.
No.
Yeah.
So mean.
Most of the top comments were not the asshole. The top comment was, not the asshole, I'd set it out. Maybe the extra ticket was an honest mistake, but do they really expect the name calling to change OP's mind? Their mistake, their shitty response, they're the assholes. Wait, that's so true. They're calling OP immature, petty, and a bitch. Yeah, do you think that's what's gonna make her be like, oh, you know what? I am being immature, petty, and a bitch. I'll ditch my son and come to your wedding now.
Thank you for enlightening me.
Yeah, like that's just not how you're gonna win someone back over. There was a slight edit. Am I confused and a little upset that my son isn't invited to the wedding? Yes, sure. Is that the reason I am debating on not going? No, my decision to not go is based entirely on their attitude, and it's been based on my son's current feelings. If in a year the situation has bypassed, regardless of my son going or not, then my decision might change, but for now I will stand behind my son and his decision and feelings. That's a good point. She's not basing it off of them uninviting her son. She's basing it more off of them calling her a petty, immature bitch. And uninviting her son in front of the whole family.
Yeah.
I'm with OP.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Not an asshole for sitting that out.
I love wedding drama. Wait, this one's funny. This one I have such an obvious answer to. Am I the asshole for leaving my husband alone with the kids for 2 days? I, 24 female, have 2 sets of twins. The first set are 5-year-old boys and the second set are 3-year-old girls. My husband, 27, always complains that the house isn't up to his standards and that it's a mess, or that I sometimes put on frozen meals instead of cooking a fresh dinner. It's super irritating because I'm expected to do everything. Just because I work from home, he thinks that I have an easier job than his, which is physical labor. I can never do anything because when he has time off, all he wants to do is sleep and says that he needs it because he is exhausted from work or he wants to use his break to hang out with his friends. So basically, all the chores are usually thrown on me and I had enough of it. And it came to show when my friend called me to hang out and when I asked my husband to watch them so I can go, he went on a rant about how he's tired and he's been working all week and the least I could do is watch the children so he could get some rest. I'm home all day with easy work. So I decided after I put the children to sleep that night to leave a note saying that I'll be out to have a night out with the girls, which ended up turning into a weekend out with the girls. When morning time came, he was calling and texting me nonstop, and when I answered, he was yelling at me and cursing me out. My friends overheard the conversation. They were shocked and hung up the phone for me and told me to mute it. I didn't have any plans to stay any longer than that night, but when my friends overheard how my husband spoke to me, they convinced me to stay and even told me they'd take me out to eat and planned a whole day for me. When I got back, the place was a complete and utter mess, like a pile of full dishes, garbage all over the place, the floors were sticky, there was pee all over the toilet, and the place just smelled awful. My husband, of course, was angry and had a suitcase already packed. He barely said 2 words to me and just left and texted me saying he'll be staying at his mom's. Now I feel horrible because clearly he couldn't handle taking care of the kids for this long by himself, and I feel like an asshole, and I don't want to ruin my marriage. Do you think I'm an asshole for the way I acted?
Wow.
I think there's a solution here. It's divorce. What?
Okay, I have a few. I have many thoughts.
Okay,
first off, I can't take credit for this, but it is a good point that I heard on the What We Said podcast, which we bring up a lot.
We bring it up a lot, yeah.
I think it was their podcast. They were saying that, like, it's crazy when husbands or men have children out in public and people are like, oh, like, you're watching the kids today. How did you get stuck with babysitting? All this stuff. Like, there's no, like, you're watching them or you're baby. Like, they're your kids. You are parenting.
Yes.
And being a parent.
Yes.
As a parent should.
Yes.
It's not like the mom in the relationship is the only person that can watch the kids and take the kids all day. And when the dad has to do it, it's, oh, he's babysitting. And that is like the most infuriating thing to me, that some people live life that way.
Yeah.
Second off, I was talking about this with a friend recently. I was cracking up. Women have evolved so much because we are at a point in society where women hold jobs, run households, raise children, all that. Like, they wear many hats, and it's like very hard and it's very impressive, and many women do it and are able to do it like with ease. And men, I feel like I'm gonna get some hate for this, but men have not had to evolve as much because they work, they go to work, they're the breadwinners, make money, come home and do it all over again. Like, they just go to work and like provide. And we're still in a time where like they don't necessarily have to like be holding a job, running a household, raising children, getting an education, like all at once. And I don't know, like, it's just so crazy that, like, some people still expect women to solely be the managers of their home. Like, that is a full-time, difficult job to coordinate, like, everyone's schedules, care for everyone, like, run a household. Like, that's just so crazy. And then to also have a career, like, a full-time job. Like, this person posting, like, works from home. She has a job. And she's also, like, running the entire home. Like, it's just...
Yeah. I feel like, to your point, that idea of like the dad goes to work, the mom is the stay-at-home mom, like we're just now getting to a point in like society and culture that is becoming not the standard, I guess.
Right.
Like now people are like trying to break the mold, and people are, I feel like, more now getting behind the idea that when a dad has kids, he's not babysitting. But I remember when I was growing up, my dad always said that. He would watch us all the time. My dad is such an amazing dad, and we were left alone with him all the time. Right. My mom went on business trips and my dad watched us, and it was the same life that we would have if my mom was there watching us, like, because he's a capable adult and a capable father. And he said that he would go to work and people would be like, oh, you're stuck babysitting the kids this weekend? And my dad literally would be like, I'm not babysitting anyone. It's my kids. Like, that's not babysitting. That's, like you said, just being a parent. And I was like, I am so thankful that my dad was like that. And he didn't make it seem like, when we were alone with my dad, it didn't seem like it was a chore.
Or like an inconvenience to him and his plans.
Yeah, it was the same feeling that I got when I was alone with my mom, and it was the same feeling I got when both my parents were present. Like, they're just parenting us. It's not babysitting. And I could see how it would be difficult for one person to handle 4 kids. Like, that's hard on anyone. So I feel like OP, it's a little bit weird that she just left one night and then stayed out for an entire weekend with no warning, because I think that would be hard for anyone. I'm sure that would even be hard for OP if she was expecting her husband to come home that night and he was like, by the way, I'm out for the whole weekend. She would probably be like, what? Yeah. Like, come home. I need you to, like, help. But it seems like he doesn't help at all anyway. So maybe that wouldn't matter. But that's the only thing I'm kind of like, why did OP do that? Like, it is just a little bit weird to go out for a whole weekend and not tell anyone in your family that you were going to be gone and, like, stay out that long.
Yeah, it's a bit irresponsible.
Yeah. But I think the husband's reaction was also so weird. Like, the wife went out, the husband did nothing. Like, I mean, I think the husband is ridiculous. Like, if anything, if it was a healthy relationship, the husband would have called the wife and been like, babe, where are you?
Yeah.
Like, what can I do to make you come home? Like, this is ridiculous. Like, are you okay? Like, what's happening that you're just out for a weekend without telling me? But the fact that the husband called her and was berating her and yelling at her over the phone, this is not a healthy relationship.
No.
And you don't deserve this person. Neither do your kids. Clearly, the kids were being neglected if the whole house is disgusting after 2 days of you being gone.
Yeah, that is wild.
Why would you want a husband like this? Ugh.
No.
A husband that can't handle himself?
No.
One of the most attractive things in a man is someone that has their life together and that can keep a house relatively clean for 2 days.
Yeah.
Like, that's insane.
You're not asking much.
No. This is what you do every single day. And then, he's literally treating you like you don't have a job. It's like, oh, you work from home, so you're home all day anyway. Home all day. Like, there are preschools that have 4 kids in them total, or like stay-at-home preschools or nannies or whatever that have 4 kids that they watch every day. And that's their whole job. That's their full-time job, is watching kids, 4 kids every day. So that's what your wife is doing on top of having a full-time job. This is absurd.
Yeah.
I would tell the husband, don't come back. Stay at your mom's.
Honestly, yes.
And then he'd get a letter in the mail and it would be divorce papers. I think that's how it works.
Yeah. I don't know, but I would figure it out.
The top comment highlighted the sentence, but I don't want to ruin this marriage. Honest question, why not? It sounds like a pretty shitty marriage, to be honest. Exactly what good thing are you getting out of it? Sounds like he gets his rest, a housemaid, and a cook. He gets to go out with his friends. What exactly do you get? Pew, pew, pew. True. I think he's so selfish and he's immature. I feel
entitled.
bad. Yes, I feel so bad for this OP.
Me too. Get out of there.
Agreed.
Easier said than done, but
true.
Get out of there.
It was easy for him. It was easy for the dad to pack his bag and leave.
True.
So maybe it's not easier said than done.
Yeah.
Maybe you're already halfway there. Ugh, I hate it. Yuck. Ick.
What a loser.
Yeah, literally such a loser. Do you ever think about that? I mean, I guess yes, because you just said it, but like, just like think about how many people in the world, not just men, women too, are just such losers. And then people are like, I don't want to ruin my relationship. Why? What type of relationship is this? All you do is take care of a full-grown adult who doesn't have their shit together. Like, why would you want that?
You're with a loser.
Yes, a loser. Ew, any man, or no, anyone in general, not just a man, any partner that yells at you and berates you and doesn't let you have free time and takes advantage of you and doesn't help you in the life that you guys are creating together, that's not a partner. That's a child.
No. Yeah. That's a 5th child.
Yeah. She literally has 5 children and one of them's 27. Ugh. Bad. Okay, let's do one more.
Okay.
Should we do one that's, I don't know if other people would think it's wholesome. I'll do one that I think is wholesome because I feel like it's so cute when kids are like, just like full of love and like wholesome. Okay, here's an example. On Christmas Eve, we were doing a Pollyanna and my cousin's daughter is like 5 years old, I think. Yeah. And she's so cute. She's just like such a nice little girl and she loves Barbies. And our family puts in all these random gifts that a kid wouldn't want.
Wait, sorry. Pollyanna is like a regional term.
Yes. Sorry.
Also called like white elephant.
Yes.
Where you put the presents in the middle and like everyone chooses.
Yeah.
Just a disclaimer.
Sorry. I don't know why our family calls it Pollyanna. You're right. It's actually called a white elephant. So yeah, white elephant where there's a ton of gifts in the middle and everyone picks one and you wind up with this random item. And yeah, most of them are not things that kids want. But my mom buys like these separate presents for my cousin's kids so that they can have a toy. But we still wrapped it and like put it in the middle so it'd be fun for them. And then everyone's like, oh, pick that one like in the middle, whatever. So my dad picks the Barbie that my mom wrapped and put in. And my cousin's daughter was like, oh, and everyone's like, it's okay. Like, guess what? Like how the game works is you can steal it from him. So just wait your turn and then you can take it. And then she took it on her turn and it was happy. And then on my mom's turn, she's really close with my cousin's daughter. And she's like, I think I want the Barbie. And everyone's like, oh no, like ha ha ha. And our cousin's daughter is like, oh, like a little bit sad. Then my mom was like, just kidding, like it's fine. And then my cousin's daughter she goes over to my mom with the Barbie still in the packaging and she goes, you can have it.
So cute.
It was so sweet. And I was like, that was the cutest thing I've ever seen. Like, she really thought my mom wanted it and she was gonna give it up. The one thing she really wanted. I was like, that would like make me cry.
Yeah.
And then my aunt
so
who is,
cute.
I know, my aunt who is her grandmother was like, oh, she's just saying that so she has an excuse to come back over your house and like come and visit the Barbie. And like, it was so funny. But like, I was like, that was so sweet. Like, you could tell she genuinely was like gonna give up the Barbie. And like, children are so pure.
I know.
And just nice. Anyway, so this story kind of made me think of that because it had a sad start, but then a wholesome ending.
Okay.
So it might be a tearjerker.
Oh, no.
Am I the asshole for not treating all of my kids the same? My husband, 42 male, and I, 33 female, have been in a relationship for 4 years. However, we did not introduce children until the second year. Recently, my stepdaughter, 10 female, accused me of not loving her as much as my biological children. 1 female, 5 male, 7 male, 9 female. Wow, that's a lot of kids. It's like your family.
Yeah.
While I assured her that I love her deeply and she means the world to me, I also explained that my love for my biological children is different as I have been with them since their birth. This statement upset her and she expressed her feelings to me. I now feel extremely guilty and my husband thinks I'm wrong and I think I am too. So what do you think? Yeah, that's not the best way. She basically was like, her stepdaughter was like, I don't think you love me as much as you love your biological kids. And the mom was like, well, yeah, I just have a different type of love for them.
Yeah.
Not a good look.
Wait, how old is the stepdaughter?
10.
Yeah.
That's so young. The way she explained it was just so wrong. And
Yeah.
I know it probably just came off differently than what she meant it. It was not good. So everyone voted her the asshole, but there was an update. There was a positive update. Okay, here's the happy ending we were all hoping for.
I was gonna say, is that it?
Yeah, I was like, that's it. She's an asshole.
Kelly's like, it's a tearjerker, but it feels good at the end. And I was like, waiting. Like,
sorry. I did like, it was funny because I like ended and you just didn't say anything. You're like, okay. Okay.
You're like, isn't that a feel good? I'm like, what?
Okay. Here's the edit.
Okay.
Okay. So she realized she fricked up badly. I asked my stepdaughter to come downstairs as we needed to talk. I started apologizing to her for what I said. I told her that the love between me and my biological children comes naturally, but the love I have for her developed as I got to know her beautiful personality. She told me that she forgave me, but I know for a fact I'm going to have to do a lot more than apologize for her to forgive me fully. I asked her if she would like to go shopping, just us, and she agreed. We got to know each other so much better and we had the most fun we've ever had together. She told me that she loved... This is where I'm gonna cry.
Aww.
She told me that she loved me so much, and it seems so far all is going well between us. We are planning on going swimming and to the cinema tomorrow, which I'm looking forward to.
Aww.
She told her she loved her so much.
Aww.
Like the maturity of this little 10-year-old girl. And just the amount of love that she has, like after she came to her stepmom and presented a problem about how she was feeling, and then she was hurt by what her stepmom said, and then she forgave her when the stepmom apologized. Like, kids are so pure.
Yeah.
That's so cute.
It's so sad because she probably went to her like, I don't know their family situation, but maybe she's wanting a mother figure.
Yeah.
And she went to her and was like, I feel like you don't love me as much as your other kids. And like, essentially she's saying, I just want you to love me as much as your other kids.
Crying.
Like, she's like, I just want a mom pretty much, and like a relationship with you. And then the mom was like, well, you're right.
I know. The mom made such a bad mistake.
Yeah.
But she realized it immediately.
Yeah.
And she apologized.
Oh, that's so cute that
Isn't
she
that
forgave
so cute
her.
that the little daughter was like, I love you so much.
Yeah.
That would just wreck me.
You know what I also like? I was listening to another podcast recently, and it was actually a mom and a daughter had an episode together, and it was like really, I recommend it. It was The Bad Broadcast. I'll just put it out there. And it was one of her earlier episodes with her mom. And it was a really good episode. I recommend it to everyone who has a mom. Pretty much.
Aww.
But it was a really nice episode. But they were saying like sometimes like you forget your mom as a person too, and like she needs to hear things from you as like her child or her daughter, or you know, like whatever your relationship is.
Yeah.
And like in this story, the little girl probably understood that her stepmom needed her forgiveness. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like kids know that sometimes. Like they know what to say for their parents. Cute. Wholesome,
right? That's wholesome. There it was.
Yeah, thank God.
Yeah. I was like, she told her daughter that she didn't love her. Isn't that so wholesome?
The end.
No, it was good. It ended happy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Love that.
Yeah.
Aww. Aw.
I liked this one.
Yeah, that was fun.
I feel like the stories were all over the place. So I'm like, is children a good theme? Like, I don't know what to call it yet. Maybe just children.
Yeah.
Am I the asshole children?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
And like, again, we don't have kids, so maybe we don't know what we're talking about. So.
Yeah. If you're a parent and we just made like a grave mistake, please tell us.
Yes. Before we have our own children.
Like, never do this.
Yeah. Please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much for listening. Any final thoughts? I feel like we said a lot.
Yeah.
Cool.
I love kids.
Me too.
Just to let everyone know.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. Me too. I like when kids are sweet. It like makes my heart like explode.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? I do want 10 children. And then when I see like a few kids running around and screaming, like my cousin's kids, they're all so cute. But then when they're all together, I'm like, it is very loud in here.
Yeah.
But they're all so sweet and I love them all.
Cute.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Thank you guys so much for listening to our podcast. We love you. We appreciate you. And we'll see you in the next one. Bye.